Hello and welcome back to the channel for yet another episode of House of the Dragon Season 2, and I'm joined by my good mate, Star Wars Lawyer. Say hello, fella.
Hello, everyone across the pond.
But yeah, we'll be reacting to Episode 3 of House of the Dragon. Not much necessarily we know for sure happening in this episode. I think there's a lot of things that are going to start to happen. As to things that will actually happen from Fire and Blood, I think they're going to be saving that till Episode 4, personally. But I don't know, we'll see. I'll be interested to see what we see this episode and what we will kind of have left on a big old cliffhanger for next week. But yeah, without further ado, I think it's time that we get into the actual episode itself.
Yeah, the first battle was the first one.
We're going to be seeing some Bracken and Blackwood beef. This is the lad that's supposedly Bloody Ben, I think. Imagine like the scenes at the local pubs during this.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be mental. Well in, son.
Sometimes I wish that word wasn't so offensive over here.
Oh, yeah. Didn't end very well for them, then. Oh! Is this Tumbleton?
I think so.
Oh! Okay.
Oh, wow.
Alright, that's a... Crikey. They didn't want to underestimate the scale of it. Battle of the Burning Mill, perhaps? I'm not making that up because there's a Burning Mill. I'm pretty sure that is an actual one.
Yeah, but the first battle is the first battle of Templeton.
I will say, like, the stark contrast between Rhaenyra choosing to bury them together, because you know for a fact that if that happened with the Greens, they would not treat the same kind of respect and courtesy.
No. Definitely not Aegon.
Certainly not. Oh, is that why he's got the chain? Because he can't wear the pin on his armour. So he's got golden hands
probably.
instead. He's got two council positions now. He's got Hand of the King and Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. Wait, are those just Aegon's mates?
I think so. His frat brothers are now Kingsguard members.
Who oversaw that, for God's sake?
Aegon.
Evidently. To be fair, they're not really notable. Like, Eric and Cole are really the only notable, like, Kingsguard as far as I'm aware.
These houses are his vassals, are they not? He must control them.
You suck.
It's not very clever. See,
and your brother Darren's dragon near.
Ooh.
That's one way to say it.
They are months away.
So are they actually including Daeron? That's the question.
I doubt it.
Well, they casted Gwaine Hightower, so maybe that it's not actually Gwaine Hightower, it's Daeron. I really hope Rhaena gets more of an active role. Caraxes is just such a good-looking dragon.
When was the last time we saw Harrenhal?
Would have been season 1. We saw it. Well, technically we saw it when the Strongs got burned. And then we also saw it in episode 1 for the Great Council. Although it wasn't like shown for long. Does he not have an army behind him? Or has he literally just gone with Caraxes? I'd assume he has forces nearby.
I think he's just riding solo.
That's what happens when you're in a row with your missus, apparently. You just take your dragon and just storm a castle by yourself. We might get our first look at Alice Rivers, actually, this episode. Dark Sister is just a beautiful sword. Look at that.
I'm glad he took the wings off his helmet.
You know what? I didn't even notice he'd done that until you said it. And really, I think that was probably a bold move. Makes a bit more sense for Tawneys, but I think now he's, you know, actually going to be using it in combat. It makes a bit more sense. I've never
also,
really...
you know, like you're going through narrow ways. You can't do that if you have an extra, like, 8 inches sticking out each side of your head.
But I've also never been a massive fan of Daemon's helm. Like, I've loved his armor, but I've never really, like, been too bothered about his helmet. Like, the rest of it, though, I think is really, really well designed. Where is everyone? Because I'm pretty sure some of House Strong still remain, so I'm a bit like... I'll be the remnants of House Strong.
I'm claiming Harrenhal. Apparently so.
It's a strong rebellion, then. I like how Kristen was like, oh, and I'll finally take Harrenhal because it's going to be so hard to take. And literally all Damon's had to do is walk in there.
I, Sir Simon Strong, Castellan of
And he's on his knees.
was Targaryen, first of her name. I swear this by the old gods.
That's Alice Rivers.
There she is.
That's Alice Rivers. For a second, I did think that was the same guy that played Janos Slint.
venison is well aged.
Like, it does look kind of similar.
The answer to that is
I do really like that, like, with the Song of Ice and Fire history, like,
sin begets sin.
the whole kind of, they just started rowing, and they're just still rowing, and they're not going to stop.
Nor seal his bounds.
I'd also find it hilarious that his son's called Elmo
He's
Tully.
grip on his banner when it's weak. So they can do as they please.
Also, do you find it funny how all of the Greens forces are just wearing, like, not Targaryen sigils? No. They're all wearing Hightower sigils. Wonder why.
Got the green oh wait, yeah. No, they got the green dragon on there.
Some of them, but most of them had the Hightower sigil, honestly. Oh, no, that is Gwaine Hightower.
So, Kristen.
Last time he was seen was in the first episode.
First episode, I believe, when he jousted with
Yeah.
Daemon.
Modest beginnings.
Read him for filth.
Basically, you're scum, I'm not. And I rate it, given Kristen's recent predicaments. Who is this man?
That's a good question. This is the second week
That's
in a
what I
row.
thought. And take his head. I think this is probably the only, like, really wholesome relationship in Westeros. Like, it gives the same energy as, like, Ned and Catelyn.
These eggs
Ooh. I did hear some theories that those are the eggs that will actually
Eggs
go
for-
to Daenerys. But there's obviously the theory that those are dream fires that then go to Pentos as well. Like, it flitters between. You do gotta feel bad for Rhaenyra, though. She just sent her her remaining sons, other than Jace, away.
So she has but she knows she's doing it, so she has remaining sons.
True. You don't see that getting, like, thought about by most light royals. That's the thing I really like about Helena, is that she's very level-headed and actually just considers herself a human being rather than a royal. Wait, so he's got Valyrian steel armor on. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, considering they cut that out of season 6 of Game of Thrones.
What, Valyrian steel armor?
Yeah. 'Cause,
Oh, of
Euron
course.
has it.
Yeah. Oh, it's Aegon's armor.
I'd like to meet some
That's sick. Although the design I'm not crazy about. Although that might just be the way it kind of fits Aegon, I suppose. I don't know. I believe people think that may be Ulf the White. At least that's what I've seen online. I don't know. Given he's been given, like, a fair bit of focus, I think it's possible. Is that Diana? I'm pretty sure that's Diana.
I'm the son of Balon.
That is Viserys' father. Yeah.
You have a nephew.
That was very dangerous timing. Is he still harassing the same? Yeah, he is.
Yep.
He's gonna walk in on Aemond. He's
That'd be hilarious.
he's gonna walk in on Aemond, I reckon.
You called it.
Yeah. I shouldn't be laughing at this. Although he's fuming. I'm curious as to know, like, what it says. There's a meme I found on TikTok that I did quite enjoy. This is the first time we're seeing Moondancer, I believe.
Get him, Bela.
Oh, and because they're
Get
not
'em.
moving, because they're all moving in the open, she now knows that they've marched out of King's Landing. So their entire thing has just been ruined by Gwaine Hightower. There's no way of making a dragon more threatening than just all of a sudden swooping out of the sky and being, like, on their ass in 2 seconds flat.
And they got the aerodynamics right, doing
Oh,
it
yeah.
just like it was a peregrine falcon.
It's the one time where I'll side with Kristen on that.
Nah, I still won't.
Jace is just begging to be let out. Look at him. Basically, I want to go talk to Rhaenys for 5 minutes because she knows better than all of you. Someone's trying to get into his room. I reckon I know who it is. Mate, this is Alice Rivers. I'm calling it. That's Millie.
Alcock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got spoiled for this by GQ earlier.
I didn't know this was coming. Holy. Is that... That's Jaehaerys. That head's going to start speaking.
I hope it doesn't.
I don't trust it.
It'll be like, yeet that thing into a fire. Oh.
It's her. It's Alice Rivers. Mate, that's sick. They're doing this?
It was rumored before the season came out.
I didn't hear. Honestly, it's a pretty good disguise. I mean, even if like someone thought that looks a bit like Rhaenyra Targaryen. Nah, but she wouldn't do that. That'd be stupid.
But most of them haven't seen her in years. Yeah.
Well, no, that's Stefan Darkland. That's her.
Yeah.
The Lord Commander of her Kingsguard, I think. I can't lie. This is making a mockery of their security currently.
Does she have competent Kingsguard with her, or Aegon's boys?
Probably Aegon's boys. Let's be honest. He is shitting bricks
They're only.
here.
Yeah, because there are only 6 members of the Kingsguard, right?
I reckon they're competent lads based on it, but I don't know.
Every day of his life.
She's going to turn the exact words Viserys says, I reckon.
And yet you will maintain that
And I think maybe Rhaenyra might mention the Song of Ice and Fire. The whole thing I don't get with this though is it was like a one fucking line where he said Aegon, like, and she's vehemently like, yes.
The prince that was promised. It's a story he once told. About Aegon the Conqueror.
Oh.
Yep, there it is.
Conqueror.
Yep. Alicent, you fool. That was a masterful addition.
Now, there's the deceit. You're deceiving yourself.
So, that was Season 2, Episode 3 of House of the Dragon. I was pleasantly impressed. Kris?
Yeah, we got some cool snippets of things to come. A great addition to the lore.
Absolutely.
So I'm enjoying it. They're coming out swinging this season.
I think I really like the opening with the Blackwoods and the Brackens. It's unclear if that character is Bloody Ben. I don't think they are, because I had subtitles on and I don't think it said Benjicott. It said something Blackwood. So
yeah,
it was a Blackwood,
hey.
But we just don't know if it was the elusive Bloody Ben that it would suggest. But the shot of the burning mill after was really, really cool. It's just kind of like an opening and going, yeah, this is how bad it can get, and that's without the dragons. Like, right. This is tame. So that was a really cool. But no, the addition of Rhaenyra and Alicent having that kind of sense of dialogue and an actual communion, that was a really good addition. And again, makes sense to why it wasn't in Fire and Blood.
Right. And then that just look of shock of how Alicent was like, this is all my fault.
Yeah, this is all my fault, and I was wrong. Like, I think, so kind of skipping a little bit to the preview, I think Alicent might be acting slightly on that. I think just based purely off of the kind of like way she was sitting and looking at Aegon, is like, now she's not even seeing him as like her husband's chosen. She's just like, oh, he was a waste of my time. Like,
yeah. And I want you. I just went on Twitter and I seen JJ's tweet about that in, I guess, well, this was 15 minutes ago. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh yeah.
So you can read it to the people.
That's probably not a bad idea. I will throw that on the screen for you lot, but pretty spot on, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So yeah, I think having that moment of realization for Alicent, because Alicent is very, she's very complex, but she's got a sense of righteousness about her, and I think she really held on to the idea that Viserys did mean Aegon, and that she genuinely believed she was doing the right thing, and now she's like, oh, he was talking about a Song of Ice and Fire. I still think it's ridiculous that was her interpretation, personally.
It'd be one thing if he said Aemond, right?
Yeah.
That's the only, like, he's a psychopath, but at least he's competent. Aegon is a sociopath that is not worth anything.
And I'm pretty sure the serving lady in that tavern was Diana from season 1 that he graped.
Yeah.
So that's not entirely fantastic. Also, I feel like if I were Alicent and that had happened, I would probably give that person a very cushy life rather than going off to
I
the
thought that's
tavern.
what she
I
said.
thought
That's what.
I don't know though if I did maybe misidentified the actor, because it may well be someone else. But
Because I would have sent them, all of them, out the city. Like you're going out to a countryside. There's gonna be a whole community for you.
and if you're gonna go to a tavern, go to Pentos or something. You're far away. You're not gonna have any interference. Like it would make sense. The other thing I did want to talk about was Harrenhal. Now, I was very. I mean, to be fair, I think based off of what Fire and Blood said, and this isn't going to delve into spoilers, by the way, for if anyone is concerned. It is basically just said that Daemon's kind of bloodless victory at Harrenhal was a very big win for Team Black. So we knew it was bloodless, so that's pretty accurate. But the stuff we got with Alice Rivers, that was really interesting. We get one shot of her kind of at the dinner table. Then all of a sudden, she's made Daemon go on this weird little mind twist where we get Millie Alcock return as Rhaenyra, which I thought was a really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And kind of interesting that like Daemon still views his wife like that, but anyway.
Well, I think so. If you look at what was being shown in that scene, right? Like it was a death of an innocent.
Yes.
And so maybe like at that time, when Rhaenyra was at a certain point during season 1 as Millie Alcock, there was an innocence that Daemon corrupted. That's my interpretation.
That's not a bad viewing. I think that makes it a little bit. That was when she was at her most innocent, and that's the kind of person Daemon feels like he's exploited. That would make sense. I mean, ultimately, they knew what they were doing in the sense of just, we wanted to use Millie Alcock, which I don't blame them. That was a really cool cameo, and it didn't feel like kind of like, oh, we have to include a flashback of Millie Alcock and Emily Carey. It would be quite nice to see young Alicent again, but I don't know necessarily how that could fit in, because I don't exactly see that working with Daemon having a flashback. Maybe Aemond having a flashback with Alice Rivers when that happens, if he goes to Harrenhal. But like, other than that,
go ahead.
I don't really see getting a flashback of younger Alicent.
Yeah, what I thought, I just knew Millie Alcock was going to be an episode. I didn't know the context. So what I thought might have happened would have been like Alicent, like either like Alicent sees a young Rhaenyra and young Alicent, like she has a flashback, or Rhaenyra has that flashback, or maybe they had a mirrored flashback.
Yeah, there was a theory going around a while ago from those trailers. I don't know if you recall it. Daemon's ring seemed to be on Emma Arryn's face, and I think that her agent said that her kind of availability was somewhat dubious around the time that when House of the Dragon Season 2 was being filmed. So there's a theory that we're going to be seeing Emma again, and I think we know for a fact that Daemon's going to have more of those hallucinations, because again we see him kind of walking towards the throne in his seemingly Harrenhal bed attire, with that which does seem to kind of match with this kind of previous Alice Rivers hallucination that we saw before. But also just the turning to him going, "You will die in this place," and walking away.
Yeah.
Cold. And
Unconfirmed.
Yeah.
He lived. He went off to Pentos.
He went on holiday. He went back to him and Lena's holiday house.
He's the grandsire of, or the great-grandsire of Fagon. He's a bright flame. That's what he is.
Blackfire, isn't it?
There's also the bright flames.
Is there? I don't know about
Pretty
the Bright
sure.
Flames. I thought Arryn Bright Flame was just named that because he liked drinking wildfire. Although
Quite possibly.
I may well be wrong.
Oh,
on
there
that.
was House Arryn Blight Arryn.
Yeah, that was
Bright Flame.
That was brother of King Aegon the Unlikely, who was the brother of Maester Aemon, I believe. I don't think he was a Bastard, but he definitely took Bright Flame, but I don't know if that was kind of like a, you know, Jaehaerys the Conciliator kind of thing. But yeah, it is possible that I may well be misremembering. But for the most part, that episode was absolutely fantastic. We got a couple more shots of sea smoke, which I feel was deliberate. I would have liked to see the Hull brothers again this episode. I think I'd have been to see that. I completely forgot. Ulf the White. We know he's here now, and he's kind of laying the kind of ground that he's Jaehaerys's grandson, as it will, a natural born grandson, as in bastard. So whether or not he's playing it up for the lads at the pub, that's a very different question. Probably a little bit, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I think it will be interesting to see what's going on with him, because there's I can't remember what exactly happens with him in the books, but spoiler warning for Fire and Blood. Quickly, 3, 2, 1, get out of here. He is a dragon seed in the sense that he does claim a dragon. I can't remember what. I think it might be Vermithor. It's either Vermithor or Silverwing. I'm pretty sure, because Hugh Hammer takes one of them. I think Hugh Hammer takes Silverwing, Off the White takes Vermithor, but I think I might have it the other way around.
Hugh Hammer does Vermithor.
In which case, I think Off the White takes Silverwing then. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's good with that we're establishing these dragon seeds. The lack of Nettles is upsetting, to be honest. I would have liked Nettles, and I think, you know, she has a pretty high amount of plot relevance. But I feel like, again, if we're looking at roles that you could cut, I think Nettles does unfortunately kind of land in that category. So I think it's just kind of unfortunate. I mean, they also did make several references to Daeron and Tessarion, so that's certainly interesting. I don't know if we'll ever see them, because to my knowledge, there's not been any form of casting news for Daeron at all, or anything like that. But what I'm honestly thinking they might do is they might do Daeron in Season 3, and have him as a new character then, and then kind of start talking about him here, so that when they throw him in Season 3, people aren't going to go, well, how come now we're only finding out about this kid? Like, I think that would make more sense.
Daeron and his dragon, although they didn't say.
He said something like, yeah, he said his dragon's almost ready for fighting. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure it would be Tessarion, but that is a pretty good way of going. He's coming. Probably not this season, but he's coming. So there is that as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've missed in the episode, but I think that's more or less covered it. We've obviously got Rhaena, of course, going. So again, it wasn't entirely clear whether we probably just talked over the dialogue.
She's going to Aaron, to the Eye, and just chilling.
She's going to the Eyrie with Joffrey, but it's
Aegon, and
it mentioned them going to Pentos though. But if they're going to Pentos, they won't go to the Vale first, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
unless they're waiting for the dragons to hatch, then they'll go, because there are a bunch of dragons.
Yeah, or once the Vale sends their men down, then they'll go.
I'm just wondering, because it's a little bit kind of. I can't quite remember exactly how Fire and Blood has the events flow, but to my knowledge, they leave from Dragonstone. So I'm a bit confused as to how that will work with that considered. But I think the highlight of the episode overall, though, for me, is the Alice Rivers scene. I think that was really. It was. I was surprised by it. I think. In terms of shock, that would take the cake for me. Although originality, certainly the Alice and Rhaenyra dialogue. What about you?
I think that scene is it for me.
Yeah.
It was really well really well acted.
Yeah.
The dialogue was great. You saw all those emotions on Rhaenyra's face, where she was like, "No, my father did choose him over me. I made a mistake." And then she's just like, what were my father's last words? And then you saw that realization. He's like, he spoke to you about the Song of Ice and Fire, about Aegon's dream. And she's like, Alicent's like, the Conqueror. And then you see the realization on her face, and then just utter denial.
You do have to wonder, And keep in mind, I've not watched season 1, episode 9 recently, or I think it was the episode before. Actually, it was still Lord of the Tides, what they did Viserys' death, and looking back at it, it really wasn't like it was easy to misinterpret what he was saying. I'm pretty sure he just said Aegon, the prince that was promised, and then said the prince that was promised will unite the realm. And it's like, you could have asked him which Aegon. I mean, she does kind of go, Aegon. You can kind of semi-understand it, but like the more you think about how much is hinging on this one misunderstanding, it's like,
I mean, I can't give it to her. I can't give her any credit for that. It's like this man for the last, I don't know,
he's been addled on milk with a puppy.
15, 20 years has said in public,
Rhaenyra,
when asked, Rhaenyra.
Also,
Rhaenyra,
and
Rhaenyra,
had just
over,
reaffirmed it that
over.
day
That
in
day.
the throne room, and went, Lucerys Velaryon, the true-born son of
This man got out of bed.
yeah, he got out of bed. Mate, you followed down the stairs.
Disease-ridden.
Yeah. And he steadfastly upheld Rhaenyra's son's claims to the throne and held them as legitimate. And was saying, yeah, Rhaenyra. I mean, yeah, no, it's a weird situation, honestly. Like, I can see kind of how Alicent got there, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like having so much hinge on that one decision is like, it's aggravating, man. But yeah, I can ultimately understand it. But yeah, I think that's more or less everything for that episode. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've missed talking about. Oh, the conversation about dragon bonding. So this is something I've been seeing kind of floating around a fair bit, and that is the whole principle that that Sea Smoke can't bond with another rider unless Laenor's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might not be the kind of clear-cut case. I think it's because Laenor essentially abandoned Sea Smoke as opposed to just died. And I think abandonment could break that connection. And again, it's not entirely clear. I don't know if it's more of a show thing than a book thing, because the books, they still like use whips and stuff to use, like, fly their dragons, but in the show it's deemed much more of a kind of mystical bond. So I think this might be more of a show thing from Game of Thrones coming into place here. But I don't necessarily think that means that he's died somewhere else. Although, yeah, there were theories for a while that they wouldn't do Adam or Alan of Hull. They would just have Laenor come back, and I was like, you think Corlys and Rhaenys wouldn't recognize their own child?
Yeah,
that's not gonna happen. But no, I think that otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, will more or less conclude, unless there's anything you got to add, Chris.
Nope. That's all I got.
Perfect. Well, thank you very, very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That's been Season 2, Episode 3 of House of the Dragon. And please be sure to go check out Chris and all of their socials. I will have them all linked in the description, so please do check that out. And if you are interested in more House of the Dragon reactions, please be sure to keep an eye on the channel. Subscribe if you want to kind of keep up to date with them. Click the little bell button. You know all the basic stuff. I don't need to remind you of that. And drop a like and then leave some comments. What did you think of the episode? What are your theories, if you have any? I'd really like to hear it, especially if you've not read Fire and Blood. Although if you have read Fire and Blood, fair game. But I'm interested to hear kind of what non-book readers have kind of surmised from what we've been seeing and what they think they can expect to happen. So I'd be really interested to hear that. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that will be all for today's video. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.